Hey there, this is Joe Techie. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about the GE antenna. This is actually an HDTV antenna, similar to what you would normally find like your rabbit ears back in the old days, but they've upgraded these. These are now digital, so this is specifically so you can pick up HD channels over the air. This particular model is a 24792, and it doesn't actually specify anywhere in the box or in the instructions how much range it has. But my guess is it will pick up anywhere between 30 to 50 miles range of different channels. So I'm going to show you a little bit about this device, and ultimately I'm going to give you a quick tour of my television so you can see exactly how nice and crisp some of these channels look and why we're actually going to be making the cut from our cable TV to this and save ourselves a whole ton of money per month. So the first thing I want to point out is that this is the box that it comes in, and you'll notice that it's fairly slim. It's probably 1.5 feet tall or so. The picture of the antenna is actually there on the front, and you can see that right here. Now, one thing to note is it comes completely disassembled in the box, so you actually have to put it together, and when you put it together it does feel a little cheap and a little bit light, but it actually is specifically made to fit in your attic. And what I did is I put it together. I actually connected the coax cable from the antenna to my television while I was holding it as high as I could with my arm in the living room just to see if I could pick something up. I wanted to see if it would be even worth my time to even go hang this thing up in the attic before I attempted to do that. So I was able to pick up channels, which is awesome, and as a result I did hang it in the attic, and we picked up even more channels once I got up in the attic because it has a much clearer line of sight to the broadcasting stations. Now, just so you know, I actually am picking up about 45 different channels right now. Some of them I watch, some of them I don't watch, but it's definitely nice to have a variety of different channels because back in the day, I used to get maybe 4 to 6 channels before. So just something else to note, this, because it is an HD antenna, it also does include the other two bands, the old UHF and VHF. I'm not entirely sure if it's actually picking up anything from those bands because supposedly those were phased out a few years back. But in any case, it does show you a picture right here in the lower side of the box what it kind of looks like up in the attic. I'm actually going to show you exactly what it looks like in my attic. The whole thing assembled is probably roughly about 2 feet wide and maybe about 2 feet tall, roughly. So it doesn't take a huge footprint, but just again, it is designed to fit in your attic. If you were to hang this up on top of your roof, it would probably fly away at the smallest wind because it's not designed to be outside because it's so light and flimsy. It's just not designed for that. So it does perfectly fine sitting up in the attic. So I'm just going to take you over to my television real quick, show you some of the channels that we're getting, and then I'll take you over to the attic and I'll show you what it looks like mounted up in the attic. And it was a pretty simple installation overall. So we'll be back here in just a moment. Alright, I'm here in front of my television, and right now I'm looking at my local station, which is Fox 13. Happen to be in the Tampa area, so Fox 13 is our one of the many local stations that we get. And as you might be able to tell, I don't know how good the quality is going to look through the camera, but the quality of the video, depending on what it is that was actually shot through their cameras. For example, some of their broadcasts might look a little weird. That's just because of how certain things were broadcast, but you'll notice that things look really crisp when it goes back to the news station. And I'll wait for that before I switch the channel here so you can see. Look at how crisp that is right there. That is actually high def, so that's a neat little device. I'm totally enjoying it. I'm not paying for cable. This is awesome. I'm just going to flip through a couple of the channels here. You can see that this one doesn't look as nice, and we'll find that there's a few of them that just don't look as good. And there's other ones that look spectacular. Like this one here, this is a local WSF channel. And that's a kids channel, so there's, like I said, there's about 45 different channels that we're getting right now. I would say more than half of them or so roughly are completely crystal clear high def. I mean, look how crisp this channel is right here. I mean, Obviously, I'm not going to watch all of these channels, but it's definitely nice to, if you're bored one day, to want to flip through the channels and see what's on television. So that's definitely a nice option to have. And I'm going to flip to one of my favorite ones, right here, CW. That's one of our favorite stations because we get to watch Flash and some of the other superhero type shows that come on television. Anyway, that's that. I'm going to take you up into the attic real quick so you can have an idea of what that looks like while it's mounted up in the attic, and we'll close off the video and we'll take it from there. Okay, well, here we are. We're up in my attic. Actually, I'm halfway through the attic right now. I'm not completely, I just got my head poked up through the opening, but anyway, that's the antenna right there mounted up on as high as I could get it. And you'll notice that it's really right up there at the top of the peak. And it is, in this particular case, facing south. There's actually a website you can go to that tells you exactly where all of the broadcast stations antennas are located. And the best thing I could suggest is to actually point them in that general direction of where all of the broadcasting stations are, because that's where you will get the best line of sight for picking up as many channels as you can. So you can see it's really not a big footprint. I actually need to run this cable somewhere else right now. It's kind of a quick little fix. I just wanted to get it up and running. I need to run a different cable so it's not hanging over like that. But that will be my next step now that I know that it's working. And folks, you can't really beat this. It's a $35 antenna. I bought it off of Amazon. I'll have a link in my description below. This is definitely a steal. I mean, you can't really, even your local, I don't know, it just depends on what your cable carrier is. Some of them will have local stations and some of them don't. Like, for example, the satellite providers, you know, Dish Network or whatever they are, they're not going to give you the local channels, which it's kind of a bummer. You know, you might want to know what's going on in the local news and not necessarily always in the national news, or maybe both. But in any case, you might want to know what's going on locally. And you can't always find that out with the Dish Networks or different satellite providers. So anyway, that's it for here. I'm going to sum this back up and we'll take it back over to my little studio. Okay, so we're back. As you saw, quite a few channels. I didn't flip through all of them, but just to give you an idea, there's very nice crisp quality on most of the channels. One thing to note, during the rainy days where it's storming, literally storming outside, there were a little bit of glitches, like artifacts that you could see where it was kind of blocky in certain spots. And that was just momentarily, it was never something constant. And we had some pretty bad storms rolling through, so I really wanted to check that out as the storms were coming through to see what kind of signal loss I was going to get. But all in all, it was actually quite good. If you're concerned about not being able to record your TV shows with a DVR, there actually are little PVR boxes, a personal video recorder box that you can buy that you can hook up to this to the box and then route that little box to your television, and you can hook up, say for example, like an external hard drive or something like that. And I'll probably cover that in a different video just so you have an idea of how that goes. But anyway, it is possible, whether you do it through a computer, like using a TV tuner card, or one of these little PVR boxes, it is definitely possible to still record your favorite TV shows on your local stations. So that's it for now. I hope you found this useful. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and also please visit my website at thejoetechie.com for some other great information, and we'll catch you later. Joe Techie out.